global earth catastrophe is the rise of plagues, just like we saw in the Old Testament, specifically with Egypt. And the very first plague that very well could be a sign right now of God's judgment upon us, folks, is the rise of animal deaths. Let's take a look at that text there. Exodus chapter 9 is the text, verses 1 through 6. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Go to Pharaoh and say to him, this is what the Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says. Let my people go so that they may worship me." That's all you got to do. But no, can't follow God. If you refuse, though, God says to let them go and continue to hold them back, the hand of the Lord will bring a terrible plague on your what? Your livestock in the field, on your horses and donkeys and camels, on your cattle and sheep and goats. Okay, in other words, all of them. Okay, and the Lord set a time and said, tomorrow the Lord's going to do this to the land. Okay, they didn't turn around, and the next day the Lord did it. All the livestock of the Egyptians died. Now, folks, believe it or not, that's what the Bible clearly says. One of the things that God apparently will use and does as an act of his judgment, if you don't turn around, is he's going to judge you by what? I'm going to take out your animals, right? To get your attention, okay? Now, folks, this is what's really wild. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but right now, all over the world, there has been a mass animal deaths all over the world. Have you noticed that? It isn't just a couple here and there, just in the United States. It's all over the world, all at the same time, okay? Let's take a look. Even the news is getting on this. And listen to their language. They're even peppering it with biblical terminology like, is this a sign of the apocalypse? Even they realize that something weird is going on with all these mass animal deaths. Let's take a look.
The puzzling story of a massive kill of wildlife in the state of Arkansas. Birds falling out of the sky, the result of some sort of trauma, and fish found dead in the water. Thousands of them in separate incidents in the same state.
They rained down on a small Arkansas town like a scene from a horror movie. Thousands of dead blackbirds on front lawns, and so many in the street, drivers could barely avoid them. As many as 5,000 bird carcasses littered across a 1-mile radius.
Geez, what a way to start the new year, right?
Yes, sir. Last year we started it with floods, and this year birds.
And adding to the mystery, a massive fish kill also here in Arkansas, just one day earlier.
As many as 100,000 drumfish dead along a 20-mile stretch of the Arkansas River.
Back now to our top story, a terrible mystery gripping the world right now. Birds, fish, and all kinds of creatures just dropping dead in huge numbers for what seems like no reason. Just in the last 2 weeks, the theories and speculation running rampant.
Hundreds of dead seals in Labrador. These seals washed up around Hopedale. There are similar reports from other communities. No one knows why these animals died.
Bruce County Humane Society is investigating the death of 200 cows.
The cattle were discovered on a farm field on 4th Street in Amherst. Today, the bodies were taken out in semi-loads to be disposed of. The Portage County Sheriff's Department says the animals died.
They've occurred suddenly with devastating results. A series of huge fish kills, the latest involving 2 million fish in Maryland.
On Kent Island, Maryland, along the Chesapeake Bay. Wildlife officials say roughly 2 million of one particular species died very suddenly. But this came at about the same time that thousands of birds died suddenly in Arkansas and Louisiana, and millions of fish were killed in separate incidents from Arkansas to South America to the South Pacific.
This is all a sign of the apocalypse. Authorities in northern Italy say more than 1,000 turtle doves have dropped dead over the past 5 days. It's the latest in a series of unexplained sudden death incidents affecting creatures in the sky and underwater. The events have sparked a media frenzy, with doomsday speculators saying it hails the end of the world. 8,000 dead turtle doves in Italy, hundreds of birds dead in Rockwell, Texas, 500 red-winged blackbirds in Louisiana, 100 birds in Sweden. The species include crabs, stingrays, eel, drum, speckled trouts, and redfish.
In the UK, 40,000 velvet crabs littered the coast. Brazil, 100 tons of lifeless fish floated. And in Sweden, jackdaws fell in the dead of the night. Across the world, the bizarre phenomena of creatures raining down or washing up on shore has mystified scientists.
The video you're about to see is not a gravel road. Those are the dead fish.
This footage that was taken recently was in Rio de Janeiro, I believe, or Santa Cruz, South America. I'm not exactly sure what's happening, but all over the world things are changing. We're talking about environmentally. The weather-related changes may have an effect. Look at all these dead animals, these dead fish. This is in Bolivia, South America. Alligators dead everywhere. Whatever was in the water is coming up dead. This is happening all over the place.
That'll get your attention. And maybe that's exactly what God's trying to do. If you don't turn around, if you don't do what I ask you to do, if you don't stop rebelling against me, modern day Egypt, I'm going to take out your livestock. And hopefully that will get your attention. Man, praise God. We don't see any signs of that happening. Right, Ron? Folks, it's happening all over the world right now in massive, massive quantities. But that's not all. The second plague sent by God, that very well could be a sign that he's getting ready to judge us real soon, just like Egypt, because we too are rebelling against him, is the rise of insects. This will really bug